He is too tall, his arms and legs too short for a guy who was 6 feet 6 and was often referred to as a medical scientist. Daniil Medvedev is the exact opposite of what you would picture as a tennis player. But what if I told you he has won 20 ATP Tour singles titles, including 1 US Open, and held a world number 1 ATP ranking? How can a towering 6 feet 6 basketball-like player like Medvedev achieve all that, even when he looks unprepared at times? Unlike Djokovic, who is always enthusiastic and fierce on the court. Judging by his unusual height and look, he is not even supposed to be in the ATP, let alone winning a single title. But because of his high IQ, he can read his opponent's minds and move ahead even before they use their racket to hit the ball. He hasn't always been a legend. It wasn't even his dream to play tennis. But something happened. Let's go back in time to his early years. Maria Sharapova's father conceived of a tennis career for his daughter when she was 4 years old. Rafael Nadal began training intensively with his uncle at the age of 5. Roger Federer first picked up a racket at 3.5, got a personal trainer at 9, and at 14, his parents sent him to a prestigious tennis school in another city. All of these are typical tennis stories. Usually they start at 4 or 5 years old. The story of Daniil Medvedev does not fit into this scheme. I brought Daniil to tennis, but it was by chance, his mom recalled. How did it happen? After the Medvedev family welcomed a new baby on February 11th, 1996, in Moscow, Russia, Daniil was already learning to swim at the Chaika pool. He was also learning chess at Tigran Petrosian School and taking drawing classes. On weekends, he enjoyed playing football. His parents were obviously unaware of what career their child would pursue. One fateful day, when the family went swimming with Medvedev's older sisters, Julia and Elena, at the Chaika swimming pool, Daniil's mom, Olga Medvedeva, saw an ad for a tennis training program. I called my husband and asked, maybe we should also go to tennis. He said, yes, of course, let's go. The group recruited Medvedev, and he started training under legendary coach Ekaterina Kryzhkova, who had coached numerous professional tennis players, including Vera Zvonareva. And that was how Medvedev started playing tennis, even though his parents knew nothing about the sport back then. They thought tennis could also be good for his development. Medvedev adapted quickly because he was a very inquisitive boy. He didn't like to sit idle, so he did everything, playing music, drawing, and more. Even after joining Kryzhkova's class, he didn't focus solely on tennis at first. The future tennis champion was serious about his studies, excelling in math and physics while practicing tennis. I found studying very interesting, he says. It's not a sport, but there is always a competitive element. Medvedev even took an academic shortcut, finishing his final 2 grades in 1 year. But this wasn't to focus on tennis as many might assume. Instead, he enrolled in the Faculty of Applied Economics and Commerce at MGIMO in Moscow. However, he soon realized he needed to focus on one thing. Evening classes weren't enough to grow into a professional player. He made a crucial decision and dropped out of school to train seriously. At 12, Daniil changed his coach. At first, he was very awkward, recalls coach Igor Chelishev of his first impressions. He had already grown tall but lacked coordination. A hunchback. Plus, his character. At 12-13, he was so fired up that it was impossible to understand whether he'd have the patience or not. He threw his rackets if he lost. We punished him often. If he got mad, he would run 10 laps around the court. Daniil could run 20 to 30 laps during a training session. A remarkable thing about Medvedev was that he wouldn't stay out of the game for long, as often happens with children. He knew how to regain focus quickly. In late 2009, a 13-year-old Medvedev played his first junior tournament in Estonia. In December 2010, he began winning titles. He claimed his first junior title as a qualifier, his 3rd official tournament. His unorthodox tactics, playing style, and technique shocked the tennis world. Many doubted he would go far. By the age of 14, Medvedev had become the best in his club. He began playing for the national team and winning tournaments, claiming 6 titles between 2012 and 2013, where he lacked technique or physical fitness due to his height, making him imbalanced and lacking grip on the ground. His character saved him. He is a fighter to the end, said his second coach, Chelishev. Despite his tennis progress, Medvedev enjoyed his hobbies and seriously got into video games. He even competed in national cybersport championships. At age 17, tennis began taking him around the world. In 2013, he moved to London to make his junior Wimbledon debut. He also traveled to the US, where he was seeded for the 2013 US Open and became the best young tennis player in Russia. Medvedev was a recipient of the Yeltsin Foundation scholarship, receiving €15,000 annually, a significant boost for the top 3 players in each junior age group. By early 2014, Medvedev had climbed to the world number 1, 13th junior ATP ranking, defeating future ATP stars like Alexander Zverev and Riley Opelka. Yet, he didn't produce spectacular results in his early junior career. His highest junior ranking was world number 12. This might have been because Daniil balanced his focus between academics and tennis until age 18. To further his growth, rigorous training became essential. In 2011, Medvedev's entire family relocated from Russia to Antibes, France, a picturesque coastal city. Antibes, known for its luxury yachts, became their new home. His parents enrolled him at the Khimki Academy, a tennis school founded by developer Alexander Ostrovsky. The move to France was a financial struggle for his parents, as their visa status prevented them from working. However, their sacrifices paid off. Medvedev began his professional career in 2015. By 2016, he had earned about $160,000 in tournaments, and by 2018, he was making $1.6 million, winning 3 ATP titles along the way. Medvedev made his senior debut at 19 during the 2015 Kremlin Cup, partnering with Aslan Karatsev in the doubles event. His ATP main draw singles debut came at the 2016 Nice Open, where he qualified for the event. Just 3 weeks later, Medvedev secured his first ATP win, defeating Horacio Zeballos in straight sets. In January 2017, Medvedev reached his first ATP singles final at the Chennai Open. Though he lost to Roberto Bautista Agut, it marked a turning point. Determined to improve, he began working closely with psychologist Francisca Dos. "I matured and revised my attitude to tennis," Medvedev explained. "I realized I needed to work on myself regularly to improve my results. It was a kind of mental training once or twice a week." While not exactly a late bloomer, Medvedev needed time to adjust to the ATP Tour. His racket alone will tell much about his high level of thinking, despite his poor athleticism. He swings a hefty racket with a compact head size and a tight string pattern. A racket of this specification calls for a high level of focus and technique, as there is little room for error. It is definitely not a racket that an amateur can pick up and play well with. His racket setup is a good fit for his flat-hitting baseline game, which focuses more on consistency and match efficiency. His racket is probably one of the main reasons why he can outlast many others on tour during long matches. His breakout came in 2018, when he skyrocketed up the rankings, winning 3 titles by the end of the season at age 22. He claimed his first title at the Sydney International Open, defeating Alex de Minaur. Later, he secured the Winston-Salem Open title by beating Steve Johnson in straight sets. The real breakthrough came in 2019. Medvedev reached 9 finals, won 4 titles, including 2 prestigious ATP Masters 1000 tournaments, and earned over $7 million in prize money. He entered the US Open as world number 5 and defeated Stan Wawrinka in the quarterfinals and Grigor Dimitrov in the semifinals to reach his first Grand Slam final. In the final, Medvedev pushed Rafael Nadal to 5 sets in an epic match lasting nearly 5 hours before Nadal prevailed. Even Nadal was impressed. Tonight, people saw why he is the new world number 4. The way he fought for a chance to win was incredible. Medvedev's playing style reflects his high IQ and adaptability. He uses a compact racket with a tight string pattern, a setup demanding precision and focus. His flat-hitting baseline game is built for consistency and efficiency, helping him outlast opponents during long matches. At the 2020 ATP Finals, Medvedev defeated the top 3 players in the world, Alexander Zverev, Novak Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal, on his way to victory. In the final, he overcame Dominic Thiem, cementing his place among the world's best. In 2021, Medvedev reached new heights, defeating world number 1 Novak Djokovic in straight sets to win the US Open. The match was historic, as Djokovic had been vying for a calendar year Grand Slam. Medvedev used his height and defensive skills to nullify Djokovic's game, securing a 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 victory. He became the third Russian man to win a major title following Yevgeny. After his stunning 2021 US Open victory, Daniil Medvedev solidified his status as one of the most consistent players on the ATP Tour. In 2022, he reached the finals of the Australian Open, where he faced Rafael Nadal in a match that would become one of the greatest comebacks in tennis history. Medvedev initially led by 2 sets, but ultimately fell to Nadal in 5 grueling sets. Despite the heartbreaking loss, his performance showcased his elite skill and mental toughness. Later that year, Medvedev reclaimed the world number 1 ranking, becoming the first player outside the Big Four, Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, and Murray, to achieve this feat since 2004. He also added more ATP 500 titles to his collection, further establishing himself as a dominant force on hard courts. The 2023 season saw Medvedev continue his consistency. He captured his 6th ATP Masters 1000 title at the Miami Open, defeating Jannik Sinner in a thrilling final. He also reached the finals of the Indian Wells Masters, where he faced Carlos Alcaraz. Although he lost to the young Spaniard, his deep runs in major tournaments kept him in the top 5 of the ATP rankings. Heading into the 2024 season, Medvedev entered with a renewed focus and determination to reclaim his place at the top of men's tennis. His season began with a strong performance at the ATP Cup, where he led Team Russia to victory, displaying his leadership and resilience. At the Australian Open, Medvedev reached the semifinals before falling to an in-form Novak Djokovic. His ability to challenge the game's elite players underlined his consistency at Grand Slam events. Following his Australian Open campaign, he dominated at the Rotterdam Open, winning the title without dropping a set. Medvedev also returned to his preferred hard-court tournaments with success, claiming titles at the Dubai Duty-Free Tennis Championships and the Cincinnati Masters. His match against Alcaraz in Cincinnati was a standout, with Medvedev's tactical brilliance and defensive capabilities outlasting the aggressive Spaniard. In the clay court season, Medvedev made significant strides, reaching the semifinals at the Italian Open. While clay remains his least favored surface, his improvement in movement and shot selection highlighted his dedication to becoming a more complete player. At Wimbledon, Medvedev showcased his versatility, making a deep run to the semifinals before falling to defending champion Carlos Alcaraz. It was a testament to his evolving game on grass, which had previously been considered a weaker part of his repertoire. Medvedev's reputation as a witty and self-aware personality continues to win fans worldwide. Known for his humorous on-court speeches and candid post-match interviews, he brings a unique charm to the often serious world of professional tennis. Off the court, Daniil enjoys a low-profile life with his wife, Daria, whom he credits for his success. The couple welcomed their first child in 2022, a milestone that Medvedev says brought balance and perspective to his career. As of late 2024, Medvedev remains a prominent figure in the ATP Tour's Big Three of the next generation, often mentioned alongside Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner, and standing at world number 5 as of January 2025. With his combination of intelligence, resilience, and a never-say-die attitude, Medvedev is poised to remain a top contender for years to come. From his unconventional introduction to the sport to becoming a Grand Slam champion and the tallest world number 1 in ATP history, Medvedev has redefined expectations. His unorthodox playing style, built on defensive mastery, flat ground strokes, and a powerful serve, has made him a unique force on the tour. Rivalries with players like Carlos Alcaraz, Novak Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal have solidified his place among the elite, while his ability to outthink opponents highlights his high tennis IQ.